Hello world, this is Mindabble, I'm Dee, and today I'll give you a speed paint of my newest Redbubble design, Lady Lily. While commenting on an observation I've had about myself while reflecting on the drawing. This is a piece created for the World Art Nouveau Day 2021 and one of the very few digital art pieces I've created completely in Photoshop. First off, I'd like to point out that I've used a reference picture for the pose. This picture is a part of a ginormous library of stock poses created by AdorkaStock. Seriously, the library is huge and there's basically a pose for anything you can imagine, and links to find them in the description. This piece was created in Photoshop on a 457 by 610mm 600 ppi canvas using the default brushes, specifically a mix of the hard round pressure size and soft round pressure opacity. Those are some very creative names. So, with the boring details out of the way, let me just say how much I've missed being on the brink of my comfort zone. So, let's back up a bit. Growing up, I've always been doodling two things: eyes and the feminine form. I have made countless sketches of feminine bodies in all sorts of poses in varying levels of finishedness, if you can say that. It's just so much fun. There are so many free-flowing lines you can make. You can play with space and form and twist and turn the line of action. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hot. Like when you see a cup of something you know smell good, you get the same feeling as if you smelled it in real life. Kind of ish. I don't know. It's dopamine, I guess. There is also probably a lot of projections in those drawings and sketches. I used to kind of hate my body. I used to hate how it felt and how it moved. And I'm not gonna go too much into it, but in essence, looking back, I drew not just how I wanted to look, but mostly how I wanted to move and how I wanted to feel. Ethereal, graceful, smooth and flowy, and those are all things I think I've come to terms with. I don't hate my body anymore. I don't hate how it moves. I don't hate how it feels. It's just my body, and that's the way it is. So, pretty looking girls in beautiful poses became my ultimate comfort zone. It's something I would be able to just rattle off easily and quickly. And I kept getting told how easy and quick was bad. How the comfort zone was a prison where my skills would stagnate and my artistic eye would grow dull. That if I ever really wanted to evolve and grow, I had to stop drawing the same thing over and over again. And don't get me wrong. These statements are not wrong, and I think it's more than important to keep evolving your skill, keep trying new things and keep experimenting. It also kinda ties back to the saying my old teacher used to say, that practice don't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect. That you can't just mindlessly practice yourself into becoming good. You have to do it with intent and look at what you made and reflect. But I digress. I took the advice way too much to heart, and even after watching many people online talk about all the pretty girl art, I decided not to be one of those. I'm gonna admit I used to be super edgy and very much a pick-me girl. And while I thought I had put all of that behind me, I guess some of that, not like the other girls' bullshit, was so internalized that I brought parts of it with me. So, when I finally decided to make something of my art, I decided that I wanted my art to be different. I didn't want to just do the same thing over and over again, and wanted to distance myself from what I used to do. Basically, I essentially shot myself in the foot just right before a marathon, just so I wouldn't look like I tried too hard. And I admit, I have grown tremendously from trying different things. I've learned so much from my experiments, but I've also realized that a lot of my joy from drawing has been dwindling. Constantly trying new things puts you in a constant state of stress. You don't know how what you're doing is gonna turn out. You don't have the opportunity to build upon what you've learned. And what you create will always feel more like a coincidence than a deliberate creation process. It ends up feeling like every time you sit down to draw, you have to start over completely from scratch, and that is incredibly taxing. I ended up feeling like drawing, even for myself, was a chore. It has been a couple of months since I realized that if I wanted to draw in my sketchbook but didn't have any idea of what to draw, I could just sketch up a lady of some form and my creative juices would instantly start to flow. I noticed it, thought it was awesome, and then immediately forgot that little hack. I think because no one wanted to see that, in my head anyway. So back to Lady Lily here. Last week I decided to create a new piece of artwork for my Redbubble store. I looked up a list of event days to see if anything upcoming would pique my interests, and there, a few days in the future, was World Art Nouveau Day. I absolutely adore Art Nouveau. The swirling, flowy lines, the great use of plant-related iconography, and when it comes to Alphonse Mucha, the beautiful, strong, sensual women in frame. I knew I had to do something in the style. I was so excited to create that I didn't even think whether anyone wanted to see more pretty ladies in flowing garments. So I made a pretty lady in flowing garments, and during that process, I felt so free, so open. It was like coming home after a long time abroad. This was my domain. Feels silly, but that's how it felt. And I'm not gonna say it was easy. It most definitely wasn't. Most of that was due to the medium, and I've only just barely started working digitally, but my experience with watercolor has been such a big help. And I had many ideas on how to do what I wanted, and while some worked and some didn't, it was a fun process to experiment in. And I think most of the reasons for that was that I didn't have to experiment in all aspects of the drawing at the same time. So yeah, I don't know if I have any more insights or anything. This is all very new ideas and observations, and this script, this I'm reading off from right now, even just started out with me rattling through the boring details of the process, having no actual idea of how to even talk about anything regarding the drawing. So I guess in conclusion, what I want to say with this is experimentation and practice is important and good, but when everything you do is a new experiment, none of what you do is practice. And if everything you do is practice, you rob yourself of feeling proud of what you've already accomplished. The comfort zone is comfortable for a reason. It was built on confidence and security, and is a showcase of what you can do when you relax. And while it may not be very productive to hide there, we all need a safe space to regain our trust in our own abilities. We are all on a journey, creating, evolving, stagnating sometimes, having to go back and take a different road, pick ourselves up and kick ourselves in the bum. But that doesn't mean we can't. Just once in a while, stop up, take a look around, breathe, just look at how far we've come. So, yeah, I guess that was it. As said, this was supposed to be just a short little blurb about the technical aspects of the drawing, with probably 80% of the video being just music, but I suppose I realized an observation about myself and I really wanted to share it. Also, I've been kind of exposed to quite a few stuff this week that has made me incredibly introspective and has ripped up in some old trauma, so I guess that's that. I have a video I want to do about that, but I want it to be well researched and thought out, so that might not come out for another decade. Yeah. So anyway, this design is up on Redbubble, both with and without the background, on all sorts of products, and the links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed the speed paint, and I hope you enjoyed my perspective and observations, and if you have anything to add or to discuss, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear if you have any other viewpoints on this. And yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for me for this time. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.